Grab your brushes, diva. Today we're blending. This is not only my personal favorite eye look that I do all the time, but it's also my most complimented eye look from customers at work, and also the look that I do on people the most, because it looks good on everyone. This is your reminder to check if you're subscribed. This is a new channel, so you're probably not. Double check. And the link to all my other socials will be in the description below, if you want to see more of me. Let's break down the look, shall we? She's a deceiving eye, this one. It looks more complicated than it actually is. I don't have time for all that in the mornings when I'm getting ready for work. And the best part is, you can use these techniques to adjust this for any color, any look, any style. It's the basics, it's the best. Warmer, cooler, purple, green, whatever you want. So what do we actually need for this look?
The tools.
Well, you're going to need some sort of eyeshadow, preferably something that has quite a few depths. Use a combination of palettes if you want. My personal favorite is the Mario. This is not a surprise to anyone who's a fan of me. We have all the colors we'll need for this look directly in this palette. You want something with a good depth range. I will put up an in-depth post on my Instagram for like a rundown of the best basic eyeshadow palettes that we have at Sephora, so keep a lookout for that one. We're going to need something for the eye base. We'll talk details about these in a minute. And for the most important part, the brushes. A bigger fluffy brush, a smaller fluffy brush, the teeniest, tiniest brush, a flat fluffy brush, and a flat concealer brush. We'll also do an entire separate video on brushes altogether because I feel like that's a whole other can of worms. You just have to trust me for today. Let's get into it. Alright, I've done my skin prep, I've done my brows. This is the point where I like to start to do my eyes. Why? Well, I'm glad you asked.
Fallout.
The enemy of under eyes everywhere. Basically, any little mistakes, you can clean them up now, you can work on your symmetry now, it's lower stakes. Okay, so what do we actually use for eye prep? These are my personal favorites, the MAC paint pots. Very classic answer of me. They're just a slay. I have been known to use concealer in the past. I'm just a little bit more picky about concealer because they tend to be more hydrating and we just don't want anything to slide around. If you do want to use a concealer, I have been known to use Shape Tape, Huda, something that's more matte, she's not going to move, if you don't want to use a whole other product. I have two colors depending on if I'm tan, not tan. I do have a fake tan on in a minute, so we're going in with the classic soft ochre, and I like to use these on just like a nice fluffy brush. Less is always more with these. You want to be able to let the products set down to its final finish, so that way you avoid creasing, it's not too heavy. We just want a thin base, we don't want to pack it on, because otherwise, honestly, it's going to be more to your detriment than a help. These do make a great spot concealer because they really set down. So if you have any particularly stubborn spots, I also like to do that now, but today is not about the base. Now to what you're all actually here for, the eyeshadow. Let's zoom you in a little bit more, shall we? So where do we begin? On our color spectrum, I like to start somewhere in the middle. In this palette, my favorite color to start with is this one right here. And I'm not picking up tons of product, we're just getting the brush nicely coated before we go in, and we're starting on the outer corner. You always want to start kind of where you want it to be the strongest. Like, this is the most product at the time that this brush is going to have on it. You know, by the time that we get over here, there's going to be less product on the brush. So I like to start where we want it deepest, just doing like little taps, little circles, and then kind of, once we've used the majority of the product, we can bring it through the crease a little bit more. And something that you'll notice when I'm doing eyeshadow, and I would recommend this for all eyes, eyeliner, eyeshadow, lashes, like anything that unless you plan to walk around like this all day, or walk like this all day, or walk like this all day, that's not how it's going to look. You need to do your eyeshadow looking at eye level, so that way you don't, especially if you've got hooded eyes, it doesn't go whoop and like disappear. But we're just slowly building up the color, bringing it out slightly. Again, we've used the product on the brush, and now we're blending with whatever is left, really focusing on this outer third here. I'm going to do the same on the other side. And then I'm just going to keep going back in. This is all the same color still. We're not going crazy. just to build up just kind of the amount of depth that we want from our middle colour. You can always go back in and add more. I sort of know this eyeshadow look very well by now, so I sort of know where I want to stop. But you just want to slowly build up pigment. Like, you don't want to load up the brush, pack on tons of product. You're not going to be able to blend it out properly. Start with less is always my advice. You can always add more, but once it's on there, it's not coming off. To blend that out, same brush, I'm going to go in with this colour just here. Sometimes I like to go in with the more fair shades, but I'm thinking we'll do this one for now. And I'm going to put that on the edges of what we just did to blend everything out. Just so everything's nice and seamless. We're going to grab our smaller brush. This is one of my all-time favorites. It's an old Morphe brush. It doesn't even have the number on it. It's just so nice and small, and it's got a good amount of fluff because I've really worn it in. It's not like a lot of people, I see them pick up this sort of brush. This is too dense. This is not going to do what you want it to do. Now we're going to grab something darker than our initial color. I'm going to jump to this one here. This color is a little bit warmer because I'm more tan. Sometimes I would grab this one that's a little bit more neutral, but we're going for the warmer one today. And we're just going to pack this. Literally, we're going to do the exact same thing that we just did, but because this is a smaller brush, we're just naturally not putting it everywhere. Really small circles to start with. Right? And then, where's that other brush? We can go back in with our original, go back to the original colour, and blend her out. Sometimes what I also like to do if I'm blending two colours together is to pick up both of those colours. And then kind of put this on, you know, that in-between section. Maybe this is what we're going to bring through to the inner crease a little bit more. Like, I don't want this over here. That's going to be quite harsh for this look. I still want it to be soft. Now, before I add any more depth, I'm going to do the other side. On the same smaller brush, I'm then going to jump down here. This is a very similar tone to the last colour that we just used, which is why I'm happy to use the same brush. I'm just picking it up just on the little tip of the brush. I'm not swirling it up, we're not grabbing tons of product because it is a deeper shade. This colour we're putting much closer to the lash line, really just kind of keeping the blending to the size of the brush. I'm not putting it everywhere, we're really just keeping it to the outer corner of the eye. And then once we've deposited that colour, that's where we can get a little bit larger in our movements. And then you just slowly pick up more and more. This is where we're really building the smokiness, we're building the depth. You could stop here if you really wanted to with the two colours, but what I find that people love about this look so much is the depth that it brings without it being really harsh. And then same fluffy brush, we're going back in with that second colour and we're going to blend out that edge now. And just mixing those two colours together just to help blend everything out. Now, I would say this is the point where you're going to make a choice. Do you like the rounded eyeshadow look, or do you want it to be more sharp, a little bit more lifted? This is where you need to decide, because if we want it to be a little bit more lifted, we need to bring this colour a little bit further out to have the opportunity to clean it up and bring it into a wing. If not, we're going to kind of leave it like this. I am very fond of a wing liner, so for the sake of this, I will show you. It's also how I wear it when I tend to get the most compliments. And I'm not bringing this colour up, I'm bringing it more so out. That's what a lot of people make a mistake with sort of any more lifted look. Eventually, we are going to lift this up, but we're going to do that when we clean it up. We're not doing that now. This is just with whatever is left on this brush also. There's nothing left on this. And then same thing for this brush. You can go back into that original color if you want. Bring it a little bit further out. Now we do the other side. Alright, and with our last brush, our teeniest, tiniest, this is where we're going in with our deepest shades. We're going to start with the black and then do the brown. Keen viewers may have noticed, size of brush equates to darkness, lightest to darkest. Anyway, smallest brush with a little bit of black. This is what we're putting on the outermost lash portion. And you want to use something quite small here, just so you can have more control. Then with our fluffy brush, that last color that we just went in with, we can use her to blend that out. We are going to solidify this later with a little bit of liner, but we want to start that journey now so that, sorry, I'm just going back in with those first two colors to get rid of that little line that popped up. We want to start the depth now so that way we're not having to try and blend out a bunch of eyeliner, which tends to get messy. Okay, now for the other side. What you can see from how we've placed and blended our eyeshadow now that we have a reference point is that we've kind of done this C here. Even if we're going to bring this up and have it be sharper, even if it's more round, I like to think of eyeshadow as light to dark, with the kind of apex of the darkness sitting right here, and it really forms this nice C gradient right here. So that way we're still opening up the eye, but we've got a really nice smokiness. We have the opportunity to add sparkle and make impact in other ways. Okay, now for the lid, we're going to grab something like this one, which is the flatter, more fluffy brush, and we're going to grab that original kind of the lighter shade that we used to blend out the top earlier. Don't want to pick up tons of this. And we want to start to blend that out over the lid. Because not only then are we setting, we haven't put any product here, so we're setting this area down, but we're also blending out that C. You can even go back in, I might sort of dust this brush off a little bit, just so it's not got too much other colours on there. Blend that out a little bit. She looks a little bit more finished already. Ooh. Same brush, we're going to go in with what is clearly my favourite colour, and we're going to use this right here, almost bringing it down onto the nose. Because with our fluffier brush, we were being quite liberal earlier, we've naturally put a little bit of shadow there. And if you know me, you know I love this sort of open eye look on the inner corner. Like, look how much more finished this eyeshadow looks already compared to this side. Okay, we are done with the majority of our shadow. Now, we're going to clean her up, add some liner, do the finishing touches, and then we're kind of done. Now, my favourite way to clean up eyeshadow is, yes, with concealer, but not how you think. We're going to put a little bit on the back of our hand, and we're going to grab one of these. We are still wiping away the excess product, but we're not using makeup remover. For God's sake, do not use makeup remover. Like I was kind of talking about before, I'm not going to do this looking like this, or like this, or like this, or like this. I plan on looking at people like this all day. So, I've got my little mirror. This is how I'm going to find the angle, and I'm going to start wider, then go higher. Far too many people, it was kind of the advice for a little while to follow your lash line, the angle of your lash line. I don't find that that is really flattering on very many people, and then you kind of end up with like the Nike tick when you do eyeliner and things like that. Go further out than you think. That is a piece of advice that really helped me when I struggled with eyeliner. And then we've cleaned her up. We haven't ruined our base. Alright, I'm pretty happy with this. If you're someone who struggles with wing liner, this is how I learnt to do wing liner, because I've already made the shape. We've messed around with our eyeshadow, I've got the gradient, we've got the symmetry. All I have to do is trace that now. Much simpler than trying to raw dog a wing liner. We're going to go really, really thin. Give yourself a blink break over the lash line. And when you're doing eyeliner, especially on the top, don't hold the pen like this, hold it like this. And don't be scared to really get in the roots of your lashes. There is nothing worse than when you've done a stunning eye look and then you can see the gap. Okay, that looks pretty good. That was very stressful trying to talk and do that at the same time. Okay, honestly, that's kind of the hard part for me, is getting these parts even, because if one is thicker, that's the part where you're gonna be able to tell. So now, we're just gonna trace the line basically that we made before. It is also okay if she's not perfect, because we have room to fix her up now. When you're connecting your line to the top, you don't want to start at the very, very edge. It's what a lot of people do. It looks thick, it looks gross. You want to start, honestly, even halfway. And you can see that we're starting to build out our little wing. We're going to do our same concealer trick to fix up our little boo-boos with the liner. No one will know, it's fine. She's fine. We're going to continue to blend this out anyway, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Back to our teeny tiny brush and the black. We just want to go teeny tiny. We're not loading it up. We are, however, blending out the line between the eyeliner and the eyeshadow. We're also setting down the eyeliner as well. Helps everything last longer. But we are blending out this line so it's not super harsh. Can even, no more product on this. Blend her over the top. Like, there's still clearly a wing there, but it's just not a big poof of liner. It's a little bit softer. We've continued to add that depth. We didn't just cover up all the eyeshadow that we did before for no reason. This is also why we don't have to stress about making the eyeliner too thick. And because we have also now done pretty much the eyeshadow, this is where I'm going to take the opportunity to find any little bits of fallout that have gone rogue and gone under the eye as well. I do not want that mixing with my concealer later. We are now officially at the point where I'm going to do the base. You are not invited to that for time's sake. You can see how I do my base in my other videos. I will link those at the end. Alright, I've done most of my base. I'm kind of at the point where I want to finish off my eyes before I finish the rest of my face. And what we're going to do is basically the opposite of how we started. We are going to grab our smallest brush. I'm adding no more product. No. And I just want to kind of mirror exactly what we did on the top. Don't forget to connect it to the wing. And like, now we're looking a little bit more finished. We can even, because of the foundation and all the other application, we can go back in, just kind of touch up those edges a little bit if we want to. Personally, I'm not super fussed if that's not super sharp. I kind of like how soft it looks. Now, this is the part that I kind of find not so optional. If you really want something to look crisp and professional and just, we need an eyeliner. Personally, I don't really care what color it is. Brown, which is what I'm going to use. If you want to use a black, it doesn't really matter because we're going to use it on the waterline. It just helps it look more finished. It's what I was talking about before. It's to avoid the gap. I just wanted, this is the only time I ever do this, is pull up the lid. And just really get that in there. Get it into the lash line. Give yourself a blink break. And I just feel like it just finishes it off. And now for the fun part. You can either keep it like this, have it be matte, look snatched, or because I've added a little bit of highlighter on the cheeks, this is what I'm going to use on the inner corner of our eyes. I'm lazy, we're using the same brush, because I don't plan on going back in with this with a matte product, so it's fine if we pop a bit of shimmer on. I'm going to pop this on the inner corner, right where we put that lightest colour. Whatever's left on the brush, we can dust over the brow bone. And it's not that we've added any extra colour, but this just looks a little bit more cohesive with the rest of the look. I am going to add finishing touches, maybe finish off, add a little bit more to the cheeks, do a lip, do some lashes, all that good stuff, and then we're done. I don't want to toot my own horn, but also be sure to leave any questions you have in the comments below, and also any recommendations for any future tutorials, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good day, everyone.